Are, are we ready to start? Is okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Commissioner Hogan is here, so I can officially welcome you again, and those online, to start our session. Commissioner, if you don't mind, you are ready. I can invite you already. So please join hands for European Commissioner Phil Hogan, that will kindly kick off this session. Commissioner.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm used as an Irishman from coming in the back door, so sorry. We have to escape from these Dutch people, Kees, now and again. But anyway, thank you, Kees, and distinguished guests for being here at this very important session. It's a pleasure for me to welcome to this session on soil health and food, and to thank you, Kees, for allowing your services and your time to be devoted to this particular important issue. I returned yesterday from the informal Agricultural Council in Helsinki, where the relevance of soils was top of our agenda politically, which is not a bad place to have it. But ministers had a very important discussion, but I detected a willingness to engage very importantly in the importance of soil carbon sequestration for combating climate change. And whilst we all know that this has been very incremental and slow at a political level, I think everybody realises now at last that we're coming to a very important point in terms of policy and in terms of implementation on this important subject. So the political mainstreaming of this issue has, I think, hit the road. So I know that this session is all about listening to you about where do we see the main challenges for soil, including in relation to food production. What's the understanding of a mission on soil health and food? What, in your view, would be the successful outcomes in a mission dedicated to soils like this? And what would it look like? And Horizon Europe, of course, are providing important new policy instruments, including the concept of research and innovation missions. But missions are one thing, it's about implementation afterwards and mainstreaming the content into the political and policy discourse and implementing in the context of on the farm. But missions are a key instrument and a key opportunity as well to tackle societal challenges in a policy context and to reconnect science with society. So your views are the starting point for shaping the missions, and that's why you're here. There's no such thing as a free lunch, is it? So helping to guide the people that are involved to a successful outcome is very much appreciated and very much important to the development of this particular mission. So why have we set up a mission board on soil health and food? So I'm taking as a given that everybody in this room agrees with the need to do so anyway. But I want to briefly remind you about why we decided to propose a mission in this area. Soil is vital for the future of the planet and for all the plants and animals that live there, including our humankind. It provides our food, it filters and cleans our drinking water, it hosts a fantastic biodiversity, and it sequesters carbon. So you can see that this is part of the press release, it's not for you. Healthy soils are key for healthy food, but also for many other non-food products, such as textiles and bioplastics and wood products. And there are more microorganisms in a teaspoon of soil than there are human beings on the planet. That's not a bad. Who wrote this, Tom? And we still know very little about many of those microorganisms, but earthworms are faithful employees of the farmers, and I know that from my humble experience as a farmer in the past. They were a nuisance, but so important that people don't always realise the importance of earthworms in the context of good soil fertility conditions. But they represent at least 60% of soil biomass and number more than 1 million in every single hectare of land. They're the soil engineers, as it were, in every farmer's day and every farm, and they're needed to maintain soils in a healthy condition. And there are so many of them now that they're even putting them into lovely food products, which I had recently in the Netherlands. So in terms of earthworms, they have a dual purpose. So despite all of this, we continue, of course, to mistreat our soils. And in the European Union, a quarter of our land is under threat of erosion. And at a global level, 1/3 of the soils are degraded. So bearing in mind that it takes up to 1,000 years to produce 1 centimetre of soil, we have no choice but to make an effort and start to do something more meaningful than we have been in the past to restore soil health. And in simple terms, this means restoring proper care to our soils. This mission, therefore, has a very important task ahead of it from what I've just said. And I want to stress that the Commission will not design the mission on soil health on its own. A mission board has been established. It has 15 members. It will advise the Commission on the scope and the working arrangements of the mission. The board will do this work in an open and transparent way, seeking the views of all concerned parties. So I'm pleased that we have been able to assemble a very good team to do this work under Kees Veerman's chairmanship. As you know, Kees is a former Dutch Minister for Agriculture, a farmer in his own right, an agricultural researcher and an economist. So you pack a lot into that 1.75, 1.80 metres. Says you have a proven track record of also delivering for me and on the Agri-Market Task Force, of which he chaired. So if you want to get a job done, I can vouch for this. He's the man to put in the chair. Because we did a great job together on the Agri-Market Task Force, which has brought about the changes that you see today in the food chain. Collective bargaining powers, market transparency, unfair trading practices. This came through the Agri-Market Task Force report. So I'm forever grateful on these recommendations that I was able to dine out on for at least a year and a half, and I will dine out into the future when I meet producers and be able to compare the favourable legal situation now compared to 5 years ago in relation to the position of farmers vis-à-vis other actors in the food chain. So I'm confident under his leadership that the team will have assembled will also do a good job. The importance of soils in dealing with, of course, the climate challenge cannot be overstated. Soils are the single biggest store of terrestrial carbon, containing 2 to 3 times as much carbon as the atmosphere. And to get Ministers for Agriculture yesterday discussing and talking about carbon farming in the future is a step forward. It's only up to recently they did not wish to talk about these issues. So it's estimated that up to 1.4 gigatons of carbon can be stored in agricultural soils. And soils are therefore a key asset to achieve the targets of the COP21 Paris Agreement. And a further benefit of carbon storage is that it helps us to deal with the challenge as well of land degradation. Of course, farmers and foresters have to be part of the solution. If they don't feel part of the solution, we cannot get them to do the job we want them to do. And we have to incentivise them in the various financial supports that we give them in this direction. They are the ones that are our stewards on the ground that we depend on to do what we want them to do. We had a professor one time in Ireland and he said it's all very fine in practice, but what about the theory? So we're going to try the theory here now and see can we put it into practice. The practice is very important, and we need people on the ground. And we have people on the ground called farmers and foresters, but sometimes we have to fine-tune the incentives in a way that will meet more than one policy objective. We need to meet 3 or 4 maybe, together with the same financial support and the same people. So we have to enhance carbon sequestration, at the same time restore soil and farming biodiversity, avoid pesticide residues or nutrient imbalances. So we have to have a systemic approach, a more integrated approach, taking all of these matters into account, and our farmers and foresters need to be there to do the implementation. So we have a vehicle called EIP Agri. All of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with it. I think it's an excellent best-kept secret of the European Commission. We need to tell more people about it. You know about it, but more and more people. We need to have more operational groups. This helps the bottoms-up approach because as a farmer's son myself, I know that you're only waiting for your next-door neighbour to do the work, and then you're able to go down to the local bar on the following night and say, I knew he would get it wrong. But of course, if we can develop a system whereby I knew he would get it right, well then they probably won't talk about it, but they go out and do it because they feel that there's something to gain. So this is the challenge. So the bottoms-up approach through our EIP Agri is working exceptionally well. Our operational groups, we cannot have enough of them on the ground to give the good practice, the good news, and the practical examples to people to do better and to copy and replicate the ones that are successful. So I'm fully convinced that EIP Agri has a big role to play in the success of the mission on soils. The mission will do a lot of work with farmers. It will promote changing practices when necessary, and it will help to develop the new tools and technologies as well to help our farmers to have a good quality of life and hopefully enjoy it better when they're actually doing good for society, good for our soils. Farmers are not alone, I suppose, in the issue of what we want to do, but we need to inspire our society as a whole to care about soil health. And this will mean the changing the way we consume our food. And the success of the mission will depend on consumers and citizens getting on board as well. And to do this, we need to find better ways to communicate about soil health. It's a valuable resource, but we communicate it in a complex way. We need to simplify the language, people that can easily understand, and it's one of the most valuable resources that we have that the earth provides, but few people are fully aware of that fact. So our job is to try and do better as Europeans and as member states and the stakeholders and all that are involved in this issue, to show Europeans the role that soil health plays in their lives, what farmers can do in the context individually and collectively on the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals, and this is a key task as well of the Mission Board. So when in 1961 John F. Kennedy promised to put a man on the moon, by the end of the 1960s, every American was aware of the mission and they felt a part of the challenge. So we need to do something similar for soils. I'm not sure I'm not saying that I'm John F. Kennedy or Edwards K. Spearman, but you know, we probably think we are sometimes, but there's no harm in thinking. But we will worry less about sending a man to our planets if we can solve the health of our soils. So the Mission Board will have to come up with ideas and road test them to kickstart maybe this essential communication as well. It's not a sexy subject, but I have full faith in your ability to come up with innovative communication solutions. So I trust that all members of the board will engage in whatever way you can to bring your experience, to bring your expertise, and also to be able to fine-tune the way we communicate it thereafter in the work that you do. So I conclude by wishing you all the very best of luck. I'm told that Aldo Leopold, who was an American forester and ecologist, he wrote back in 1949, "We abuse land because we regard it as a commodity belonging to us. When we see land as a community to which we belong, we may begin to use it with love and respect." So on that note, I hope we will be able to join together in a successful mission. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Are you staying with us for the discussion or not?
He knows more than me. This is dangerous for a commissioner.
Okay. Thank you very much again. So you heard Commissioner Hogan. We have a mission. The point is what we do with this. So this session was really crafted to start a conversation with you about understanding a little bit better what do we mean when we speak about a mission on soil health and food. We are going to value your views during the next hours. I would like to discuss with you about what do you think would be the key challenges, the key priorities this mission should focus on, but also how do you see a successful mission producing? So what are the expected impacts that we can expect out of this? We are going to do it step by step. And as you can see already, you organize in discussion groups. Each of these groups are revolving around specific themes that are actually soil functions. There are 5 listed. So we will have soil and productivity, soil and climate, soil and biodiversity, soil and water regulation, soil and nutrient recycling. You will be sitting in one of these groups and discuss with your peers about what's coming next. You're not alone in this process. I have partners in crimes in the room. So namely the honorable members of the Soil Mission Board. Maybe you can stand up or raise your hand so that people can recognize you. Voila. And colleagues, honorable colleagues from the European Commission that are helping in the process as well. Please, so you recognize who these people are. Okay, so what we are going to do, the first thing I had in plan was a short icebreaker to know each other, but that's done. So I'm jumping straight into the way we are going to work. So in the next hour, you will be talking, and we mainly will be listening. We are going to do it in two steps, in two sessions. Then we are quite short, so timekeeping here is essential. I will be upon you, and my colleagues as well. As I said, we are going to discuss first about key challenges, and second about impacts. So you see here the first question that we put forward. What are the most important challenges that you see in improving soil health? Of course, with particular relation to the topic you're sitting around. Okay, so what do you see are the most important challenges at soil health and climate, for soil health and productivity, and so on? You got the drill. The way we are doing, very simple, as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, think. You can brainstorm. I will give you 1, 2 minutes for alone thinking out loud of what you think would be the key challenges around the topic. You have at disposal post-it, yellow one, the little one, sorry, you can use it, but you will adjust a short time to do it. After that, you just discuss among yourself. The moderator will open the discussion in the groups. And as a third step, 5 minutes to the end, I will ask you to put down in the big post-it, namely the pink one for the first round, so don't use the green one. The pink one, 1, 2, 3 of the key points that are coming out of your discussion. So at the end of the first session, if you did a fine job, you might have 1, 2, 3 pink post-it where you clearly put down, this is it. This is the key challenge with respect to climate and soil, soil and productivity, soil and biodiversity. Is this fine so far? Are you with me? Well, then, without further ado, I will just open the dance. You are in the hands of your moderator. Discussions are open. So, 1 minute brainstorming.
And I'll ask someone to be brave in a minute and come up with one, and then we'll see if anyone else has similar topics, and then we will try and slowly gather the ideas.
You launched the sharing, or we do it 15 minutes?
No. When you feel ready, you can start already discuss the exchange with your fellows in the group. Someone already doing it.
scheme, huh?
Please.
Anyone else got that's the problem of understanding?
Social change. I know to make this social change that people I think that this could be at the end of the day one of the challenges. You know, which is one of our challenges, probably could be the number three, because we used to be
To challenge you, I know you first. Microbiome, we understand why those changes. So there's a bit of sorry to keep the work and try and find that. Challenges how do we use market manuals so consumption to influence how soil is exploited. Radical just organic cars.
I think that food waste should be brought again to soil.
Management system for food waste to improve
Modify one part of the chain, but I'm not impacting the other part. Absolutely.
Plastics are only like the microbiome as a result of this, but the introduction of these components is the soil carbon.
I'm going to be the fun of all those, but please.
Είχαν pilots σε όλη την Ευρώπη, πέραν η Ευρώπη.
Probably because they're pH of the soil is correct. Farmers are taking soil samples, they don't know the phosphorus level of the soil, so the nutrients that are applied to the soil are not being taken up by the crops. And might be a lack of knowledge on the farmer side as well.
Everything that we have an impact.
particular topic is, I mean, simply we are losing too much nutrients, whether from liquid or soil or because too much. Too many soils have too simple, or grown with too simple crop rotations, and there can be many reasons for that. But that's only if you look at the surface. But if you think about the soil,
Sorry. We are still 10 minutes to go, so relaxed.
is hampered in practice by farmers not being able to sell.
Well, I would think that we need to away from solar farming towards
actually compensate with different crops if you know which major ingredients, so you can actually have some like biological or organic or natural restoration of the soil.
About biological restoration. Yes, about biological restoration, I think biotechnology should cover all on finding microorganisms which can improve the nutrients in soil. They can bioremediate,
And also biostimulants, which is another sector which is quite interesting. What can we do to do that? This is very general.
Doceniaci.
Last idea. So we have to choose three of these.
So we have now about 5-6 minutes to the end of this session, so maybe it's the right time to start thinking about what to put on the pink post-it. So the 1, 2, 3 key challenges your group came up with.
Agriculture We're going to go through.
Biodiversity, so profitable but to take care of the land in order to get more.
Internal threats on the Egyptians. They are the same
So how's it
So can I have your attention, please? Now it's 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. I'm looking at the moderators. 5 minutes left. So good time to get going. Get your key challenges on the post-it.
This is a challenge.
If you are like this, we cannot really turn.
biodiversity versus productivity? That's what you said. And then so the knowledge gap is we don't know which practices on which
But the challenge that we have is to get acceptance. That's going to be the okay, but do we see forestry also?
Maybe that's the headline for
Need more time now.
The place is too noisy. We complain.
no, I'm bored. Otherwise, you take the, I mean,
compact soils. Then pollutant recycling is very important. So can we say that as a final message then?
So understand most of the key words into the I'm so sorry. The word motivation. Motivation. What is motivation? So you produce capture, understand motivation.
Okay, nice people. I'm sorry to interrupt you once again, but time is up for this first session. I know this can be frustrating, but I think you did a pretty good job so far for what I can see. Someone just told me off because when I speak, no one can listen to each other. So that's why I keep talking. So you stop talking to each other. And it's impossible to stop you. That's great. Please, one moment of your attention. Only 1 sec. Just, I'm changing question because it's time to move forward to the next one. We're going to ask you, what would success of the mission in the specific area you're working in look like? So what is your expectations about the impacts that the soil mission will generate in the area you're discussing? You can finish off your previous conversation, but please get straight on to the next one. Again, 20 minutes, and we start the clock again. And now I will shut up.
So bringing back to climate, just because that's going to be so more diverse, less
Make the consumer make sure that everybody understands what I'm doing impacts.
you know, where you do not where.
We need to jump.
Yeah, but we need to have the knowledge to do numbers. How we say it.
Somebody has more than one post-it?
It's a different way of saying it, but I mean, more diverse, more diverse, we never be. And but I mean, there's a big
Increase the quality of the soil. The same is our process.
Because if we don't change the understanding of the improvements, because if we are taking care of soil, and if we say care of society, we are taking care of our diversity and the high quality products.
Can I read? I'm really struggling to hear. I'm so sorry. So carbon
Does that create, for example, in my opinion, the success is
This is going to have a back to the industry.
What does that imply? What happens? No. I don't want to start
Mention of the state, so the JRC has a system where it produces daily soil moisture data set.
which could fit in scenarios for like if the urban insurance program or the results
recognizing that food and forestry come together. Carbon is one great
Consider that we are doing that. This is the challenge of the nation. This is more or less absolutely the same, no? No, it's not. But this is more detailed information. Keep the path and improve the medium of the hive. That the sanction increases the high quality of the organic agriculture, high quality. I understand the point, but the forestry is included.
That's a separate topic. In fairness, that's very important, but it's a separate topic. Soil productivity.
No, it goes
Part of the overall point is we're not doing the overall soil productivity. We're focusing on primarily
as well as
sufficiently specific to be interesting. Sustainability.
What would be the success? That will minimize the impact of climate change. Successful that would be, that's the meaning of it, if I understand correctly.
Which one is more clever?
a measure will increase your biodiversity, lead to a more resilient
That's
production.
very, you could do that in,
instead of probably other more.
that's a very narrow. Why not more with more input?
Everybody, but at the moment we're really trying to get at that ambitious, excite someone in the community or on the street. So
Farmers are very centralized point.
but we all know, even if by 2027 we only get zero, we know this is the area. That's what I'm trying to get
We
a successful outcome of the mission would be that we identify how okay, that will the climate interaction, that we're able to come up with a way of valuing the action done by
Others saying we have to do it 2030. 2030, one more time, your hands up. Climate is like.
So we are programmed to like it's not just a research program, there are others. This is one step further to be really close to the citizen. We are having a problem.
Lower the cost to the producer as well.
5 minutes.
yeah, that's great because
5 minutes. Hello. We have 5 minutes left.
Regulation policies filtrate incentives.
This is also a meter. The machinery in the meter. That's quite concrete.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I need to cut the conversation off right now. Can I have your attention, please? We've been put you through a lot of pressure, but from what I can see, you did a pretty good job. And I want to thank already moderators and note-takers for the effort. Maybe we deserve an applause already at this stage. What do you think? Applause. Voila. Okay. So, what comes next might work or might not work, but it will depend on you as well. So, we will not be able to do a full account of the discussion around your table. Well, the group, since we don't have tables. But don't be afraid. Nothing of what you said will be lost. We've been putting everything down as far as we could. Commissioner colleagues have been the eyes and ears in this discussion, and this input will be incredibly helpful for us and the Soil Mission Board to shape up the future of this mission. So now, in the next 15, 20 minutes, I would like just to go around each group and get the flavor, a little flavor of the conversation that we're going on. And that's why we ask you to put down these 3 pink and green post-its, because we are going to work with them. But I would also like to ask the assistance of some colleagues in the room that are kindly enough to take the microphone to go around. Can I maybe leave one to Ele? And the other one to Natalia. And then maybe I can ask the kind assistance of Alexia and Annette, maybe, who is still writing. So we are going to play a sort of bingo game. It might work or not, I think. So the first one to speak has the right to speak. I will start with challenges. I will try to cover as many groups as possible. I will simply ask to whoever feels ready to tell me very quickly and in a succinct way what is one challenge that the group came up with. So, I see the climate group on my left, looks quite ready. So let's listen at the first challenge about soil and climate. And give me the post-it, please, when you're done.
Oh. So we have great diversity, but we need better knowledge of how to mix our plants, our soils, our land systems, and our microbiome to improve the climate regulation that the soil delivers for us. And then I'm going to be cheeky and give another one and say, and then how do we make it happen? Which policy and regulations to make that act? What's the motivation?
Can I have the 2 challenges? Because these are 2 in 1. It's better knowledge of the interaction between whatever you said and which policy instrument. That these challenges, any of these challenges resonate with something you've been discussing in other groups. Please raise your hands if this is the case. Anything? The other climate group, of course, has come up with something similar.
Yes, group 2 here on climate. We think it's important to have active monitoring of carbon emissions. We were eavesdropping. If I give an example, I cycled in on Rue de la Loi, and it said I was a 1,000th person that day. If we could lift that up a level to perhaps the carbon emissions saved through cycling in cities, it is a way to change perception through monitoring.
Thank you very much. Wait a minute, I heard here was a similar challenge, so just give it up. So we can stick it. Thank you very much. Can I maybe, is related to this one? Very related? Yes. Okay, well then allow me. What is this? Can you? Please.
Yes, and we would like to use the results of this active monitoring to raise the acceptance of the whole value chain for those new climate neutral, climate friendly farming practices, which may result in some increase in the costs.
Okay, thank you very much. I saw a hand raising here down in the group dealing with productivity. Please, one challenge.
No, we have three. On the other hand, we have just only one impact. So allow
If you
me
can keep it to
give
one,
the
that would be brilliant.
Well, all of them
No.
are very much related. The first one is the definition of healthy soils, what it means, with some micro categories because we are talking in Europe for different areas. Improve the soil quality and monitoring with microorganisms, nitrogen improve, about the current use of agriculture and go from the producer till the user. And finally, information and technological implementation on farmers, taking note of the financial issues.
Okay, so finally these were three. But maybe the other soil and productivity group has something that goes along with this. Sorry. Can you just give us maybe one for the time being, so I
One
can?
for the time being.
Yeah.
All right.
I will come back.
Well,
to you.
we see that it would be important to have a greater emphasis on nutritional quality rather than just a quantity. Okay, that's one.
That I will keep it. Is it clear for everyone? If not, please ask question. Thank you. Natalia, what we have there?
We have a group on biodiversity.
Biodiversity.
And we raised up the ecosystem services of the soil, like soil organic matter, soil structure, and economic value of biodiversity and soils.
Thank you very much. So again, about data, knowledge, and mapping, that seems a very cross-cutting challenge. And any one of other groups has the same or a similar one?
It's linked to a previous challenge, but you didn't see me. But indeed, to limit soil degradation, to better impact the water quality.
Okay. Linking soil degradation. Okay. I don't see any. Maybe we can finish up with this group down there, and I'm coming back there. Please. This was about water. Challenge one.
So we have here reduction of harmful substances in the water streams.
Other water group. Did you discuss about reduction of harmful substances? That was the previous one. Then I can give it to back. And I'm going, yes.
Better management of soil for water through integrated use of policies. So looking at agriculture, urban, and the Water Framework Directive, for example, together.
Great. Thank you very much. I will give it to my faithful assistants, and I move forward to biodiversity that didn't speak up, and then I'm coming back to you. Wait a minute. So.
Yeah, we already handed it over. This understanding the role of biodiversity in regenerating soil functions.
Okay, regenerative agriculture. Thank you very much. And I'm back to here. We didn't listen, sorry. 1 minute, 1 minute. I just realized that the nutrient cycling didn't get the chance to speak on this side of the room.
Yes, so
one challenge, please. One
yes,
only?
Yes, I will present one challenge, but it was already mentioned that, but for us it's also very important that in the soils is low organic matter content and we have to manage it. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. I see, can I have your, it comes in pack of trees. Amazing. Okay, and I'm there. Again, nutrient cycling, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. The first point is the lack of systemic approach to nutrients, which creates a lot of pollution, and the lack of monitoring systems and regulation systems.
That is clear. Thank you very much. Since you're there with the other two, maybe another one?
Three.
Oh, there are three. They're all connected?
All connected.
Amazing. No space left. We have another flip chart there that we put on purpose. So who has any pink post-it left? And he or she wants desperately. So I'm coming. I do this other way. No, I start from here. And then I'm coming there.
Okay, but when it comes to water management, we need to adopt a catchment scale approach, which brings in a collective understanding of the topic.
That's a pretty collective scale. Thank you very much. Biodiversity, number 2.
So another challenge is soil biodiversity indicators. So to know what we're talking about.
Very much to monitoring of the
and another one,
right.
guidance for farmers for demonstration, living lab recommendations.
I don't know why I was expecting something about farmers to come up in that group. I had this feeling something was missing. Okay, so last one. Last challenge for
Second red one. Preserve healthy soils for food security by 2050, also covering people, poor people and median income people.
That's a slightly good challenge. Very easy one. Thank you very much to all. I think that we are, unless there's some burning challenge that I left out, and that will be the last one, please decide. Water.
We have the last one. We have discussed competing interests of different sectors.
Conflicting interest of different sectors, competing interests of different sectors. Okay, that seems to be quite a lot about integrated approach. Yes, this is still a challenge, and you did a brilliant job in sticking all in a tiny piece of paper. There. So, without further ado, I will start now going through the green one, and maybe I can come back to Simon again. Climate. Okay. What do we expect this mission to achieve?
So I'm down on the floor here trying to pick them up. I will put, we have 3, but they can be a little bit linked together.
I knew it.
Yeah. So the first is a little bit linked to some of ours before. So framework for improvement objectives. So we expect to see, as a mark of success, we would have a framework for how we would set objectives to improve soil and climate. Then technologies and tools for smart agriculture. I think this is also an important area that came out of the group discussion, and ways that we could identify that ecosystem services would be valued, particularly, of course, related to the soil part.
Okay, value ecosystem services, smart agriculture, and again, framework for monitoring and improvement. Any other group has something similar, of course, the other climate group has.
So for soil to contribute to land systems as a whole, so farming, forestry, recreation, conservation land, to become net carbon negative by 2030 to 35. We couldn't quite agree on the number. 2030 to 35. So ambitious. Okay? Net carbon negative.
I think these days we're all trying to be very ambitious. So I think that's a very legitimate expected outcome for this mission. So I'm going that way, nutrient cycling. What impacts for nutrient cycling?
The change of mindset in relation to the value of not just nutrients, but of soil, and also the relationship between farmers and society and consumers.
Please stick the microphone close
and
to
consumers. Then the second is the importance of making action through projects, local projects which integrate different sectors in order to manage in a proper way resources. And third, the connection with other missions, because there is a strong relationship between, especially nutrients, because of water connection and climate and cancer and whatever.
Thank you very much. So changing mindset and connection with other missions seems to me very cross-cutting impact. So I would expect someone else has come up with this here. Sorry, and then I will come back. Yes? Yes.
Our impact is that, sorry, 20% more people will be fed by healthy and affordable diet for 2030.
Okay, this is a really high-level expected impact. Yes, it's fine. Yeah. You just struck it out. Absolutely fine. I'm coming here to nutrient cycling, then I'm water, and then biodiversity.
Yes,
Prepare yourself.
Everybody is very ambitious, and the nutrient cycling group also. So we come up with the idea that nutrient use efficiency has increased or doubled.
You put it in brackets with a question mark. You're not sure about it.
Yes. Also, we would like farmers to use more diverse crop rotations, and the soil should be covered longer time. So this is, thank you.
Yeah, thank to you. I can give all the things to Natalia. Then I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. And sorry, you were in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one challenge, one impact, sorry, so we can have time to listen to everyone. Just one for the time being. One.
Yeah. Okay, high societal one, cleaner water to swim and to drink.
I understood it. Thank you very much. Clean water. Biodiversity 1.
The research of the soil missions should lead to a change in practices, not only of farmers, less pesticides, use less fertilizers, but also maybe a change in the mind of the consumers. And we should improve our policies, legislation, including the CAP.
Thank you very much. Bingo. Impacts, I was expecting that. Impacts on farmers. Can I please ask you to give Natalia your post-it? Yep, here it is, and I'm coming to you.
So what our group would like to see, to say the mission was a success, is practices identified to increase biodiversity, ensuring productivity, and the transfer into practice, it's
to farmers.
Belongs together.
Thank you very much. They were pretty clear. Then I move to the productivity group, number 2.
Yes, by 2030, farmers should be seen as guardians of the environment rather than as destroyers.
Oh, this is do you have another one?
Good.
I like this.
An increased productivity in a balanced ecosystem and a better understanding of the microbiome supporting, in a very important way, the food production.
Yes, microbiome, I think it came up already in previous. I will bring this there and then I will be back to you. Anyone with any green papers left for the time being? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe I start there because I've not been very present in this corner. Please. Wait a moment. Microphone. They are running like...
Based on our discussion, we would like just underpin the statement about technology. So we would like to reverse disaster situations into opportunities by using new technologies.
Wow, that's an impact. Give me another one, and then I will leave you. Another impact. You changed color. That was not allowed. I'm joking.
Reduce of CO2 leading to reduce of sea level rise, which will lead to loss of, which will prevent the loss of soil.
Very well connected to water. I'm again here. I'll just wait for the mic. One other challenge from the soil and climate.
So for land managers, to be better and more well-informed, to act in a tailored way, well-evidenced and data and evidence. So if you had to put it in a nutshell, they're happier land managers and farmers, more informed.
Thank you for this very positive impact. Wait a minute. Here again. Yes, here I just heard one challenge, so it's time for the second one.
Yeah, very quick. Less flooding in urban areas, which is a link to the other mission, but higher resilience in times of drought as well.
Amazing. And this was, I remind, about water, of course, if you didn't understand. Biodiversity back. 1 and 2.
It's not only about biodiversity, but generally speaking, about raising the public awareness about the importance of soils in the food chain, in the ecosystems, and so on. So public awareness and maybe labels for products that are produced in a better way that respects nature and biodiversity.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Raising awareness and changing mindset. I think I heard this.
So what our group also would love to see as to say the mission was a success is to have incentives in the legislation in regard to biodiversity.
Incentives in the legislation regarding biodiversity. Wow. That was a rush and a very flashy report. Anyone else left with something to say at this time? Any green papers hanging around? Oh, yes, of course. You were the more disciplined in all of this. Thank you for this.
Again, for water, a better integrated policy approach that will give rise to more systematic land use planning.
Integrated policy approach, and this, I think, will bingo with many others that I've heard so far. Ladies and gentlemen, again, a big applause for ourselves, because I think we managed the impossible, and now I won't, of course, try to make sense of all of this. Our colleagues will do, but I would be very pleased if Professor Wehrmann, chair of the Soil Mission Board, could conclude and inform us about next steps as regards the soil mission. Professor Berman.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman. Looking over the many ideas that have been produced this afternoon, it's really quite a lot. I'm impressed, and thank you very much for doing that, because we are at the start of our mission, and well, the mission is clear, but where we should end, that's still in the future to be seen. Everybody knows what a mission is, but the exact time scheme and the exact substance of it, we are searching that, all of us, and you contributed it this afternoon to it, and the different stages of the discussion and the different subjects that have been discussed. I hope you enjoyed it. It's very hot here in the room, and it's partly even dark. But nevertheless, you produced a lot of ideas, and we are very grateful for that. We will certainly look it over. It won't be lost. But it's impossible to sum up and give or wrap up what has been said. A lot of ideas, but we will try to make a report of it, not in the next week, but in the coming weeks. We will try to sum up of every ideas and plans and implementation suggestions that are formulated on the pink and green and even on the yellow papers. So thank you very much for these contributions. It was a beginning of a process that we are engaging in as Board of Soil and Food, Healthy Soil and Food, and you help us to start because we are also, as members of this board, looking for solutions and making inventories of what has already been firm knowledge and what can be done about it, and what are the essential elements we should take care of in the future. Because one of the main points I think this mission board should do is to restore the trust in science. One of the biggest problems I see is that science and society have been drifting apart in the last 20, 30 years. That's due to politics, because we want to, as scientists, we want to secure our own businesses and our own future, and politics, who is more and more not aware of the high impact of science for society. It really is a case, do we believe in the importance of science in the future, or do we simply say it's just another opinion? And even important politicians really doubt from time to time openly the importance of science. And that's indeed a fatal point in our times. A fatal point because there is no other refuge for the problems we are facing than using our brains and using our expertise and try to implement what, as living creatures, responsible for the planet, responsible for our fellow citizens, to be the best, to do the best of our ability. So, in this spirit, I think we should move on. A huge assignment indeed, and Phil Hogan piled up a lot of expectations on the shoulders of myself, but also on the shoulders, of course, of my fellow members of the board. We will do our best, and I can assure you that your contributions will be part of our considerations of how to come to an advice. In the beginning of next year, we will produce a first outcome of what we think that should be done in the case of implementation. How can we best integrate our ideas and define the work of future missions? So, thank you very much for your contributions. It's indeed very helpful. As I said, we will make a report of these contributions of this afternoon. It's not in vain that you were here, although it was very short, in a short time frame. Well, that's the way it goes. We have to have contact with society, with you, with scientists, and with ordinary, so to speak, civilians. Well, I wish you a good continuation of the conference. Thank you very much. And as a last reminder to all of you, don't forget, everything is subject to the second law of thermodynamics. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.